let's get into some NBA talk, man. We gonna go a little deeper into our NBA talk. In the first hour, we talked about James Harden going to the Clippers. We gave our thoughts on that. And I'm gonna bring up the rundown real quick before I forget. I'll be forgetting the rundowns. Shout out my guy Mike Gibson. He be doing all the artwork. Shout out to Mike. Mike do all the rundowns. He do all the artwork. Big shout out to Mike for doing all that. So we're gonna talk about NBA talk, and then we're gonna talk about the Chicago Bears, unfortunately. But
time out.
Go ahead,
real quick. Speaking of NBA talk, did these niggas get LL Cool J to do an intro video for the in-season tournament?
Yeah, and all it is
Mama said knock you out.
Mama said knock you out with fucking the Roots. Like
Adam Silver, you on the watch list, nigga. I don't believe this.
And all respect to Ladies Love Cool James. I fuck with LL. You ever had a
legend,
song,
bro?
Legend. You ever had a song like LL got bops, G? Like LL got like a lot of fucking shit that I still play. You ever heard a song that you heard in a long time, nigga, and you put that shit in rotation like it just came out? Nigga, I've been blasting Around the Way Girl like it's 1990 again, nigga. I forgot how hard that shit was. So big shout out to LL.
I'm a jingling baby guy. I love jingling baby.
Whenever I go to Century City, nigga, I think about that. This is for my number one. That nigga's driving down the street with the Jason Veritek jersey. That nigga was in Century City. Yeah, that nigga had no shirt on with a Jason Veritek jersey. Me and my brother we did deep research. That was a Jason Veritek jersey. I'm like, man, he wasn't on the Red Sox yet in 2002. So it had to be somebody else.
And I'm about to say, G, them Bloods would have beat the B off his ass had he not been out there with security recording that video, nigga. Like, you know where you at?
And he was in Century City. Century City is where niggas actually go to work. It's one of the few places in LA you'll actually see buildings, like buildings that aren't like bigger than somebody's house. So I was like, damn, I done been down that street before. But yeah, all they did was just redo Mama Said Knock You Out. And how many people who actually watching the NBA know who the fuck LL? They probably think he the nigga on CSI. Like, so they probably don't even know the LL raps. They probably like, who this old nigga rapping? But shout out to LL getting the check. But we talked about the James Harden trade in the first hour. Let's talk about the reverse of that trade. Let's talk about Philadelphia. Where the fuck is Philly gonna go from here? You know, Philly was the number 3 seed last year. They screwed the pooch in that round against Boston. Boston had no fucking business winning that series. Like no, Boston got away with murder all fucking postseason. They let them off the hook. They've got these new pieces now, even though they're bum ass pieces. I don't want to say bums because these are professional athletes, but for NBA standards, they're bums. Marcus Morris has been stealing checks for years. But now that you got them, where does Philadelphia go from here now? Dante, I'm gonna give it to you. Do you think they're gonna make like a kind of like a Drew Holiday type trade to try to bring something in? Because I believe, just like Thanos said, that Joel Embiid trade request is inevitable. It's just a matter of time at this point.
Yeah, no, they're definitely going to try to make a move to bring in somebody else. And that's the benefit of picking up all those expiring contracts. Like, they may be guys that you aren't going to use on your team, but you can go poach another guy to keep Embiid happy. And I think that's definitely what they're going to do. Because at the end of the day, you still see Tyrese Maxey as, taking that leap that we expected him to take. Like, again, it's early, but he's been really getting off and been a key contributor on that offense. So for me, I think it's a perfect scenario for Philly because you still have Embiid and you're showing him, okay, we're going to remove any issues, anything that can, inhibit you from winning the title. We're going to get him out of here. So Harden was becoming a troublemaker, becoming a problem. All right, we're going to move him. But I think this was just one move in line with a few more moves that they're going to have to make in order to make that team better.
It's difficult to say for me at this beginning of the season. I try not to get too crazy with the hot takes and the predictions at the beginning of the season. Even though I always say the season don't begin, until Christmas. Maybe with the new setups and stuff that we're going to be seeing starting tonight, things might change. But I really don't know. It's the beginning of the season, so I don't want to jump out the body and tweak. And then, once the 25th come, your team that lost like 5 straight and they look like shit and everybody want to get traded. But I look at the Bulls and I see, what the Bulls might be looking to unload, and I look at the Philadelphia 76ers and I go, what can we do to make something happen? Because I just feel like one of those two players on the team is on the collision course to go to get some cheesecakes.
Um, like you said, it's early in the season, and we seen just playoff wise before James Harden got there that the Eagles, not the Eagles, but the Sixers can be a good enough regular season team to get it going. My question is this: is obviously regular season record isn't what they're trying to accomplish in Philadelphia. They're trying to win the NBA championship, even though they need to you need to go slow with it and actually try to get out the fucking first round first. I just think this is a collision course that is ending. Like, it doesn't really matter how the season ends. Like, I think with they talked about, oh, maybe they can do a Drew Holiday trade, but like even with the Drew Holiday trade, you had players like a Robert Williams. You had
So you think
players
it's over? Like, real
I
quick,
think it's a wrap.
you think this is it?
I think it's a wrap. I don't think they have what their goal is. Obviously, win the championship. The East they're not gonna be better than Milwaukee. Obviously, they're not gonna be better than Boston. I don't even think they're gonna be better than Miami. I don't know if if they're gonna be in that class. I mean, they can be 4 or 5. So what I mean by it's over is they're not gonna be an actual threat to actually win the Eastern Conference. I thought any shot of that died when both Embiid and Harden decided just not to show up in game 6 and 7 of that series against Boston. And now you remove Harden away from the equation. There's going to be more heat on Tyrese Maxey. Does that mean Tyrese Maxey can't do what he's capable of doing? No, maybe he's good enough to be able to get past the extra attention, but it was much easier for him when you had to worry about guarding James Harden. So I don't know if it's that trade request is going to happen at the trade deadline, but hear me good. Before June, that trade deadline will be coming. I believe Joel Embiid is going to be on another team next season, because as we all see, when superstars want to go, they get the fuck up out of it. We saw it with we've been seeing it honestly since Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was the first. I got a couple years left on my contract, but I'm gonna still try to get the fuck up out of here trade. We've seen it since then. There might be these organizations try to push against it. Same thing happened with KD. Oh, we're not going to trade you during the off season. Oh, we'll trade you the deadline now. It happened with Kyrie. They sent him there. It happened with Harden multiple times. It's just a matter of time, and I believe this is the last year that Embiid will be a Sixer. And honestly, the process was a failure. First of all, it took way too long for them to get to where it got to now, and they haven't even really gotten anywhere. I think they've won maybe 2 playoff series in Joel Embiid's healthy time. The best chance they had to win the championship was when they had Jimmy Butler there, and they decided to choose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. And people forget, Jimmy made the game-winning shot before Kawhi made that miraculous ass shot. Jimmy hit the shot that would have took them to the Eastern Conference Finals. When the way Giannis was playing, they probably would have beat them and would have advanced to the NBA Finals. And Embiid against that Warriors team with no KD, who knows? Who knows? That could have been the Sixers year, man. So I think that window is officially closed. It's just a matter of actually going through it. So let's move on to the action we got tonight. Actually going on right now. Milwaukee and the Knicks are on the first play-in
how they stadium
game.
how they court look?
It looks,
because the Bulls is red as shit.
I like how
the most regular
how the
action.
Bulls yeah, the Bucks court looks as close to the regular court as possible. I actually like how the Bulls court look. I like how the Heat court look. The rest of them shits look. The Pacers court look like an abomination. But
all them shits look like when you go on 2K and you got your home
make
court,
your own
and you
court.
can make some
Yeah,
you make your own
that's
court.
what these look like. Yeah, that's what these look like.
Let's
the Bulls
actually
look like
about
the opposite of Boise State. Like if Boise, one of them college teams, they got a red field though. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was looking like, God damn, okay, yeah. So
yeah,
no.
NBA's trying to do some new shit, trying to make this real soccer. Like they have the different type of in-season tournaments with soccer and things like that. They're trying to have like a college basketball feel to it. But Dante, you could pull up the in-season graphic that we got here so everybody can see like the different groups. So I'm gonna try to break this down in the most basic way I can for y'all. Okay. So all of these teams, all 30 NBA teams will be broken down into 6 different stages. Now in the Eastern Conference, Group A, you got the Atlanta Hawks, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons, Indiana Pacers, Philadelphia 76ers. Group B, Charlotte Hornets, Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks, New York Knicks, Washington Wizards. Group C, Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, Orlando Magic, and Toronto Raptors. Now in the West, Group A, Lakers, Grizzlies, Suns, Blazers, Jazz. Group B, you got the Mavericks, Nuggets, which will be facing off tonight, Rockets, Clippers, Grizzlies, and the final one, you've got the Warriors, the Wolves, the Thunder, the Kings, and the Spurs. Now, out of those 6 groups, try to break this down as best as I can. Took me about 4 times. Brother. I watched that Richard Jefferson breakdown video on the NBA page about 4 times, but I finally got it and I took notes. So each team in each group will play each other 1 time, a total of 4 games, 2 at home, 2 on the road. The tournament games will go all the way through the month of November, and they only take place on Tuesday and Friday. So all the games that are on the slate tonight are all of these tournament games, and they'll pick back up on Tuesday, and they'll have them funky-ass courts for each of those games. Now, the team with the best group record after those 4 games move on to the next round. The next round is called the knockout round. Now, the team with the next best record in each conference becomes a wild card when they advance. So in the knockout round is single team elimination between all of the remaining teams. So basically game 7 every night. Loser, you're out of the tournament. Now the last 4 teams standing will head to Las Vegas on December 7th for the semifinals and the finals. The final game will be December 9th on ABC, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. This is the only game in the tournament that doesn't count towards your regular season record. All the other games do count towards your regular season record. And so the winner of that will win the first ever NBA Cup. So that is basically what this is. I hope I explained that as good as possible for y'all. The first game we got on right now, it's Knicks, and we've got the Bucks going on. And then the second game on ESPN, it will be the Mavericks and the defending champion, Denver Nuggets. Kyrie Irving will be playing that game. So what y'all think about the tournament? I feel like a lot is riding on this for the NBA because they're trying to generate some type of interest for the regular season. Bang, what's your opinion on this?
I think the NBA has been trying to go the soccer route for quite some time. It was really the next step after, the 92 Olympics and stuff. So, I mean, I ain't mad at it. Like I said before in the first segment, the NBA season infamously always start for me on December 25th. And I think for a lot of people, they felt the same way. So you're not really interested in the NBA. You got the NFL that's going on. So this is a chance to make these games mean something, and try to draw interest away from the NFL, especially throughout the week. All right, if the NBA is going to get any type of traction off of this, it's not going to be on Sunday or Thursday. It's going to be Thursday or on Thursday or Sunday. It's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm not mad at it at all. I'm interested now after what you just said. And then the courts make it something too. It's what I will say is this. What's like if the in-season champion and the NBA champion are the same teams, does this really do anything? Like, does it really do something? For me, like, it'd have to be somebody, let's say, second tier NBA that wins this to make this exciting. And then you go from there with the NBA championship. I don't want to see, let's say the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't want to see the Milwaukee Bucks win this and then win the NBA championship.
So you think this should be just reserved for the up-and-coming teams?
Yeah, that's my whole thing about this. Because, like, I think it's best served for those second tier, the middle team, second tier and on down teams to really be able to win something out of this. Like, honestly, if the Milwaukee Bucks win this in the championship, what are we going to say about the in-season tournament? That's the problem with the NBA right now with it being so top heavy. So no, this should be something where, a middle of the road team, like let me see, like a Clippers, like the Clippers should win this, and
I
then it's
got I got
exciting, and then it's
I got
exciting, and the Clippers win something.
I got to reverse. I don't even think the Clippers winning because I feel like the Clippers are contending healthy. I think it's just, to me, this would be a team like I feel like everyone should be involved. I don't think like it should just be for up and coming teams, but I do feel like as a fan, this should be. I want to see a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder win this. I want to see a team like the Sacramento Kings win this. A team like maybe the Detroit Pistons or some shit like that, because it's like a younger team. Maybe this is like it's kind of. I'm gonna give a wrestling example. It's like winning the European title. You know what I'm saying? Like this will be like to me for wrestling with this. It's like if you're the NBA champion and you end up winning the in-season tournament, are we gonna look at it as like a Grand Slam champion thing, like when Shawn Michaels was the world champion and the European champion thing at the same time? Like, I don't think there'll be as much care. And honestly, I don't think the vet teams are gonna care like that. That's my biggest not really beef, but my skepticism. I'm skeptical because I don't think that the players are gonna give a shit enough to make this attractive. And if they do, let's just say they do. If everybody actually gives a shit, I believe this will be a rousing success for the NBA and a workout long term. Dante, what you think about this?
I was just gonna say, as a nigga that actually watches soccer, JR, it's not gonna be nothing like that. It's gonna be exactly what you just said. The best teams are gonna win the in-season tournament and the NBA championship. That's just what it is. Like a team like Barcelona, a team like Real Madrid, they got championship league cups, but they got cup after cup after cup. And like when I went, prime example, when I went over for the Bears game, Tottenham hasn't won too many Champions Leagues, but if you go to their trophy room, they have a bunch of different cups, and they're still one of the elite teams that spend a shitload of money. So it's one of those situations where, yeah, as a fan, and you playing right into Adam Silver's hands because that's what he wants you to think. He wants you to think like this is something where, all right, we're gonna get to look at these other teams that ain't at the top. But no, the teams that winning the NBA championship, they're gonna be the teams in Vegas for the finals. Like guarantee it. Like it's gonna be the exact same way. Because
who won it for the WNBA? Was it the Aces?
Yeah, back to back.
What the fuck is the point?
No, like top heavy, like it's inevitable. It is what it is, bro. Like it does, and like once Adam said, "Yeah, we borrowed this from soccer," which everybody who watches soccer, you knew where it came from. It's like, okay, nigga, you just trying to have another little event because like those events in the soccer skit. First of all, soccer they play damn near year round. Like their break is small, but every time you look up, it's Europa Cup. There's the FA Cup. It's always something going on to where your team can get a different type of hardware outside of the Champions League trophy. The only thing with our leagues, we don't have relegation, which will really shake shit up.
Which they need. They need relegation.
It's too much money involved for them to do that.
Yeah, I get why they don't do it, but yeah.
Yeah. So like that's gonna take away from it. But I think no, bro, it's gonna be the same teams, the Golden State Warriors, the Lakers, all the teams you expect to compete for a title are gonna be the ones at the end of this that's gonna be in the knockout round. That's just the way it's gonna be. But I like it though. Actually, I think it's gonna be dope.
I think it's a bold what's the word I'm looking for? A bold thing that Adam Silver's trying to do. It was a bold thing with the play-in. Play-in worked. I enjoyed the play-in. I thought from the beginning the play-in was a great idea, and it's become something now where I feel like teams do not want to make it in play-in. Now at the same time, you can be a play-in team and still make it to a West Conference Finals. Shit, you can be a play-in team, make the NBA Finals. Like so, we've seen it before. The Miami Heat were the playoff team. They were the fucking NBA Finals. Miami Heat were like a minute and 30 away from being eliminated by the Chicago Bulls, and they made it all the way up to that, man. So I think it'll be an idea that'll work out. Well, hopefully it'll work out. We'll see because the regular season needs something. I got two more NBA bullet points to get into, man. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. As we talked about in the first hour in the Cousin Dan segment, it's early. There's really only so many takes we can be given about the NBA, not even 2 weeks in. But as of today, the Golden State Warriors are 4-1. If the regular season ended today, they'd be the second seed. We were at the bam. But they've won 4 in a row after losing that first game to the Phoenix Suns at the crib. I actually think this Chris Paul thing might work out. And this has come from somebody who can't stand the ground and Chris Paul works on. Let me explain what I mean by workout. By workout, I do not mean NBA championship. By workout, I do not mean
Oh.
Western Conference finals.
Oh.
What I mean by is I believe this is going to be a really good regular season team. I think they can finish at worst top 5. Maybe I think they can be top 4 if there's some health there. The way Steph has been playing, I think the way Steph has been playing, I argue that Steph's play since the year they won their last game, 2022 on now, is even better than his MVP years. I think he's stepping into a level of just like he's just confident. Everything kind of reminds me of, obviously not comparing him to the greatest player of all time, but 1998 Michael Jordan to me is the best Michael Jordan because you take like he's still hooping, but his basketball mind in 1998 was on another fucking level. So to me, that's the best Mike. I feel like you take Steph's basketball mind, the fact that he's got that Finals MVP monkey off his back, and he's just playing the best basketball he's ever played. And I think the biggest factor is addition by subtraction. Getting rid of Jordan Poole has helped this team out tremendously. I feel like Chris Paul has, and I'll give Chris Paul credit for this. For the first time ever, I will give Chris Paul some credit. I feel like he has humbled himself tremendously to help this team and be the way that he wants to be. He came off the bench this week for the first time in his career. So I feel like that's going to work. I feel like this will be a good team. I feel like I'm not going to say they're going to make the West Conference Finals, but it also would shock me if they make the West Conference Finals. This is not a championship winning team, but I definitely think the ceiling is way higher than I thought it was going to be. If you add in young guys like Jonathan Kuminga and Moody, I think this is going to be a really good basketball team. Bang, what do you think about CP3 and what you've seen so far on him with the Warriors?
The best thing that I've seen about CP3 is they had a video of him smiling after the game-winning shot that Clay hit the other night. And you could look at Chris Paul and it was like, yo, this was the happiest man in the world. I don't know about championship because of the Denver Nuggets, but it feels to me that this team I understand what Draymond Green means about how the chemistry of this team just feels a whole lot better. And of course, with Jordan Poole out there at Rose Bar, not Capital One Arena, but at Rose Bar, having a good ass time with that Tom Selleck ass mustache. You know, that
Bang, what was that spot we was gonna go to? What was that spot? I forgot that
Park
spot.
on 14th.
Park on 14th is where Jordan Poole going to.
It's Park on 14th on Fridays, Rose Bar on Saturdays, and a couple of other bars. But Park on 14th on Fridays is a great night. Shouts out to the big homie Quicksilver. But yeah, I just don't feel like it's going to matter because you don't have the bigs to match up with the Denver Nuggets. But chemistry wise, it feels like this team is definitely different, have a different feel than what they dealt with last year. But no, a Chris Paul trade in addition was never going to be the addition that moved them over the hump. They need somebody else in the front court other than Kevin Looney. Like they need to combine him with something to be able to handle Joker. But it's good to see this team, be happy. I guess you could say that. It's good to see that the Warriors are a happy team again. It looks like they're having fun. I guess that's worth something.
And I'll say this before we get to you, Dante, real quick. What's Drake's intro on views? Keep the family first. All y'all worried about Klay Thompson's contract extension. That nigga's gonna get his money. Now, is he gonna get the money that he wants? No, but they're gonna keep the family together. As we saw, these niggas paid Draymond Green, okay? And I love Draymond. $100 million Draymond career right now. I don't know. Klay gonna get his money. It's not gonna be the money he wants, but Klay's gonna get his money. I think if anything we've shown over last year, they will kick anybody out of there to keep the Holy Trinity together. The guys who started this thing, actually, it's 4 of them who started, but Iguodala retired. So the trio of Steph, Klay, and Draymond. But Dante, what you think about what you're seeing from Chris Paul on the Warriors?
I like what I've seen. And I think when you have somebody with the IQ that he has, it's not like other players where you talk about ego and what are they going to do this? At the end of the day, Chris Paul knows what it is, bro. He got a couple years left in this league. He has no championship, and he went on a team that has a solidified core. Everybody knows who's A, B, and C on that squad in some variation. It's 3 niggas' names, and they none of them Chris Paul. So like we know that. So Chris coming in, you have to know that. You're aware of that. And I thought it was gonna work once Draymond said that, they didn't like the deal at first, but then when they actually got in the same building together and spoke with each other and started talking basketball, because Draymond is the same way on the defensive side and just overall period. He's borderline a basketball savant. Like, he's extremely intelligent. And so when you have those type of people on the team together, it's just a matter of, like, if they can bury the egos, they can make that shit work. So I think with Chris, you definitely gonna see it work. You saw it with Steph at the game winning floater. Chris called Draymond over and was like, "Hey, nigga, no, you take the ball out." Because Chris knew if he took the ball out, they would automatically double Steph and let Draymond catch the ball. Whereas if you got Chris and Steph out there, you have 2 ball handlers, and then Steph ended up on an island by himself and went to work. So having those type of plays, those type of situations happen, you're gonna see more of that for the Warriors. And don't get me wrong, I think as the season goes on, because you are so locked in with your core, I could see them potentially moving Chris when the time comes if they need a piece somewhere else. But if they win it, they're gonna let this ride out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they gonna win. I don't think they. Real quick, Scott. I don't think they. I think they're gonna win. Like, I don't think they're gonna fall off or anything like that. But whether they win or not, that expiring contract is just exciting. I mean, at this point,
now you party.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that either way it go, that expiring money is just wow. That's a big expiring.
Very time here.
Let's go.
Very time here. I'm gonna bring our first 2 topics together. We talking about the expiring contract.
Let's go.
Expiring contract. If Joel Embiid really wants out, and the Sixers are trying to restart, what's a good way to restart? Get that expiring contract. Go grab you a Kuminga, grab you a Moody, send Embiid to fucking Golden State. Golden State get another crack at the apple, and you got that. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but we've seen crazy shit in the NBA. We've seen superstars get moved for that's all. We just saw James Harden, a former league MVP, get traded for some El Pollo Loco workers. So it can happen, especially with a contract like Chris Paul's. And I think, like you said, Dante, they could trade Chris. I mean, they did trade D'Angelo Russell after like 2 months, but that's more because it didn't work. I think the only way they would trade Chris is if that Embiid situation, I feel, came up. Besides, I think they're going to wrap this. The only question is health, because ain't no matter if Chris Paul's going to get hurt. Happens every year. Same thing we were talking about with how LeBron was playing in the first half. LeBron going to get hurt. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Chris going to get hurt, but I think they got enough to hold it down. But in the playoffs, you're able to run an actual depth lineup, and it makes the game easier for Steph because you got not to say Steph ain't an actual point guard, but he's not a point guard like Chris Paul is a point guard. And it's just going to give Steph easier and easier buckets, man. Let's get to our final NBA point before we unfortunately talk about the Chicago Bears. Milwaukee Bucks, they are currently 2-2. They are playing the New York Knicks right now in their first play-in game. Of course, we all knew it was going to take a little bit for Giannis and for Dame Lillard to get together. The offense is not a question mark of mine. Defensively, this team has been terrible. You can see the lack of no Drew Holiday, and just even in the front court hasn't been as well. Now, granted, it's early in the season. Dante, what do you think about the defensive woes? Do you think it can get better? Or what do you think defensively they need to do to make this something where they're going to have to, they can be the number 1 elite team in the Eastern Conference like everybody think they'll be?
They fucked. Ain't nothing they can do. Like, it's one of those moments where you got to face reality. You brought Dame in to get buckets and win you the fourth quarter. You didn't bring this nigga in for his defensive prowess. So you subtracted defense from more offense and for an elite point guard. You could say play better team defense, but no, I do trust Nick Nurse to figure some things out. But at the same time, unless you get some different pieces in there strictly for the defensive side of the ball, you guys just take your punches when you have to and just punch harder. Shit, you got to make sure if you're giving up 120, you scoring 135, 140. Like, if on those nights. But other than that, most nights it won't be a factor. Most nights it won't matter because the team they're playing won't be talented enough to actually keep up with them. But like as we've seen, you do have those nights where you need to do a little more than just get buckets. So, I mean, personally, I don't think it's much they can do outside of trying to bring in a different personnel. Otherwise, you just got to strap up and score more. Like you just got to outscore your opponent.
Yeah, Bang, what you think, man?
Dante said it all. Literally said it all. I can't even say anything else after that to make it sound any more eloquently than that.
So basically, they're screwed. There's nothing else they can do. God,
They
good
could,
luck
bro,
and
yeah.
God bless.
Defensively,
Good
yeah.
luck and God bless. I mean, I'll say this and we'll move on. I think, yeah, defensively, I don't think they're gonna get any better, but I do think defensively they can. I won't say respectable, but they can be better than what they've seen. Granted, it's a 4-game sample size. I don't think they're gonna be Chicago Bulls bad defense, but I do think it can get better. And also, I'm telling you right now, we talk about midseason trades. They're going to make a midseason trade to shore that defense up. There's a couple people on the fucking Portland Trailblazers. That's going to be a god awful team. Everybody talking about Robert Williams. Will not shock me if they find a way to get Robert Williams at the deadline because they're going to get rid of a lot of those vets and just make it straight up young team, man.
See, I mean, that's why I said earlier, like early in the season, I don't want to make no predictions or like.
But that's what we do in the media. We have to do that.
Stuff. Huh?
That's our job to make prognostications early.
No, I know. I know it's our job. It's just like it's just for basketball. It'd be too early for me to really be like, oh, this is gonna continue to happen. But in this case right here, you let go of the best defensive player maybe you have to get somebody that don't play a lick of it. And you don't have any wing defenders to make up for it. So you got to wait till December 15th or you got to wait till the All-Star break to get that. I just think they need to just be like, fuck it. We are just going to outscore everybody. Let's get ready for bully ball and shoot some threes and let's have a ball after that.
I mean, that could happen. I'm going to quote one of the greatest defensive players of all time as we wrap this up. The one and only, God rest his soul, Bill Russell said, the game is about buckets. Yeah. He said that the game is about buckets. When you got a guy like Dan Miller, I think they'll be fine.